What's up, guys? Welcome to Fish Over Chicks Woodworking. My name is Peter, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to build this super simple farmhouse coffee table. Thing takes about an hour to make, maybe less, and it is 43 inches long by 21 inches wide and 17 inches tall. So it's a super standard coffee table size. And these are great. I've sold a ton of them. People love these. So if you're building stuff to sell it, highly recommend this. It's super cheap to make, and you can sell it for a good amount. So let's begin. So the only two tools you're actually going to need for this are a screwdriver and a circular saw. The circular saw can be replaced with the miter saw. I use the miter saw to make these cuts because it's so much faster. But if you do not have a miter saw, the circular saw will do just fine. You're going to need glue. That's what we're going to use to put the top on the legs. You're going to need screws, obviously, and then you're going to need a speed square to make sure things are squared up. So the cut list for this is you're going to want 4 pieces of 2x4 that are 16.25 inches long, 2 pieces of 1x4s that are 20 inches long, 2 more pieces of 1x4s that are 40 inches long, and then 6 pieces of 1x4 that are 43 inches long. So the only thing you're going to need for this is 1 2x4. These are going to be the legs, and then you'll need 5 pieces of 1x4 by 8 feet, so you can cut these down to size. This project cost about 16 to 20 bucks, depending on what the wood prices are. Right now they're super high, so it's more than $20. But all right, let's get started. So the first step, you're going to want to take 2 pieces of your 2x4, and then you're going to want to take your 2 40-inch long 1x4s, and then you're just going to spread these apart, which they're going to be apart 40 inches. Take one of these, place it at the edge, because you want it to be flush to the edge, because these are going to be the legs. We're going to do this twice. And then once you got it lined up pretty good, you want to check it with your speed square. Once you have these both squared up on both sides, you're going to take 2 screws, and you're just going to put a screw here, here, and here, and here. And boom, just like that, you got a leg. Then we're just going to do that again. So once you've got both of the legs assembled, you're going to want to flip them over, place them down, and then you're going to want to take your 20-inch 1x4s, and you're going to want to connect these 2 legs with them. So you're going to want to take it and put it here. You're going to want to drill 2 screws right here, and then you're going to do this here, and then 2 right there, and then we're going to do that again on the other side, so we have a nice sturdy frame. So once you got that done on one side, it's going to look like that. Then simply flip it over, do it on the other side. Okay, now that you've got it all together, it's really looking like a coffee table. So, there it is. That is the frame of the coffee table, the legs. So at this point, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the top. So for the top, you're going to want to take your 6 1x4s that you've cut to 43 inches. And the top is basically going to look like a bunch of slats connected to each other, because that's what it is. So you're just going to want to lay them out like this. A few of these boards are a bit warped, but that's not going to matter at all. Once we assemble it, the glue and the screws are going to flatten it all out, so that'll be fine. So one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning of this video is you're going to want to have 2 scrap pieces that are 17 inches long. Does not matter how thick or wide. You can even do 3 if you want, but this is actually what we're going to use to keep all of these slats together. The screws that you're going to use for this one, make sure they're a little bit shorter. I'm using 1 1/4 inch screw, just so it does not go through each of them. So you're just gonna line all these pieces up pretty much even. Doesn't matter if they're not perfect, we're gonna sand it down at the end. And then screw this piece into them. So these scrap boards, you're gonna wanna make sure that they are pretty centered. You don't want them too far to one side or too far to the other because the frame is gonna sit right here. So make sure they're pretty much center and there won't be any problems. And just screw it down. Alright, so now that you have the top made, it's going to look like this. And again, don't mind these imperfections right there. We're going to sand it all down. We're going to glue it, and it's all going to become even and nice. So now what you're going to do, lay it back down flat. Then you're going to take your legs from earlier, and you're just going to place it on top like that. Doesn't look too bad. Then you're going to want to even it up on both sides. So you're going to want to center it. It's not going to be, probably not going to be perfect, but that's okay. You're just going to want to eye it. You can measure it if you want to, but don't have to. You're not really going to be able to tell. So once you got it where you want it, you're just going to trace the inside and outside lines, just like this. Now you trace it for two reasons. One is so you know where you're going to want to place the glue. I don't know if the camera's going to see that, but I've got lines there. And two, so you know exactly where to put the legs back on. So now you're just going to run glue in between all the lines. Now once you've got it all glued up, you're going to want to take your top and line it up with those lines and just place it right down. So now is when you're going to want to grab your clamps. If you don't have clamps, that's okay. You can put some weights on here and here. That would also do the trick, but it would not work nearly as well as clamps. So I highly recommend clamps. And if you're going to be doing any woodworking, you need clamps. So I go a bit crazy with the clamps just to make sure that it's all glued down and sealed nicely. So what you're going to want to do, take it, grab both sides, and just bring it off an edge a little bit. Then you can clamp down this bar to here. So I'm going to do that over here. And I'm actually going to do it with every slat. But then you're just going to want to do that on this side as well. So once you've clamped down both ends, you want to take it, flip it up, and then clamp down this side and this side as well. So now that we've got it all clamped down, we're just going to let it dry for a few hours. I don't know, I usually don't time it. I just put it aside, work on something else, but I'd say probably give it at least 4 hours. And all this writing and imperfections you see on the wood, we're going to sand it all off once we take the clamps off. So, set this aside to dry. Okay, so it's been about 4 hours. So the glue should be dry by now. So I'm going to take off the clamps now and then sand it, and it will be done. So here's what it looks like without any of the clamps on. Looks pretty good. Now I'm going to sand it with 150 grit sandpaper, and then it'll be complete. So let's do that. So here it is, finished product. I think it came out great. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing a ton more of these how to build videos, so make sure that you subscribe and check those out as they come out. I'm probably going to upload 1 to 2 a week depending on how it goes, so make sure that you're checking back for those. So thanks, I'll see you in the next one.